My name is Sharon Epica. I'm the founder and creative director of Epica Jewellery. So I'm the founder of Epica Jewellery. I registered the business in 2018, and I literally just make wearable art where I mostly use beads because I'm very inspired by different African cultures and I want to showcase the beauty of that. When it comes to the design aspect, I do everything. I do the designing. So with beading, it's just different patterns coming from different cultures. So I use like Maasai beaded pattern. I use South African beaded pattern. So it's very different depending on the type of design I want to make. I'm inspired by everything because at the core of it all, I love fashion. So even when I see someone with a dress, I'm like, how can I do that in beads? But also sometimes I do research on different African cultures because essentially I like to say I'm a storyteller. So I want to tell stories through beading. So I will go through research and do like basically my point of view on different African cultures and just show the beauty in my own perspective. I usually have like favorites, but I love everything I create. I love the creating side, but I will say from my just recent collection, I love all of them, but there are we just did tribal chic a couple of weeks ago, and our closing piece, I put my all into that. The whole collection, I put everything into that. You can be talented, but you have to have like your ducks in a row in terms of business. So I did a couple of training programs which really helped me to gain some business skills which I needed for me to grow as a businesswoman. So I'm not just a creator, I'm also an entrepreneur. So like in terms of pricing, product development, those are the things I learned within these programs that I was able to implement in my business, because you need the business skills to have a business. I will highly suggest to do Creative DNA. It's a program by the British Council. It's an amazing incubator program for designers, and it's also opening up really soon. So I will encourage people to apply for that because it really opened my eyes on what it means to be like a fashion business person and building a sustainable fashion business. I always say I got into the business very naive. I didn't know anything about business. So when I was making everything because, oh, I'm seeing this, I want to make it. I'm seeing this, I didn't have any alignment business-wise. So when you get into the business not knowing anything, you make a lot of mistakes in terms of pricing. You just think fashion is about, oh, the product and everybody's gonna buy it, but it didn't work out like that because I didn't have any business skills. So I think research was my biggest issue in terms of, I didn't do any research, just got into it. My skills are not that great, so I just got into it because I liked it. And also pricing, a biggest issue. With a lot of creatives, we have a really weird relationship with pricing. My pricing was not right when I got into the business, which caused a lot of problems for me. You have to consider the cost of production, but I also think because it is a creative business, you have to really think about your time. You have to value your time, and you have to factor that into pricing, because also a lot of creatives don't think about like charging their time. So that's something I've really learned over time, to like charge for my time. And I also have people who will also help me and work for me, so I have to pay those people, and it has to be fair pay. I have to think about that. I have to think about branding. I have to think about marketing, and all that is factored in pricing. Social media has been the biggest tool for me. I'm exclusively online. People find me online, and like you can't underestimate the power of social media, especially when you put your work out there. That's how people find me. And also, I've been consistent for over 5 years, so people have also seen my journey. And when you're consistent, you have a lot of credibility. People can rely on you, and people get to see and like, oh, I want to buy from her because she's consistent. She's not going to let me down. So social media has been a big tool for me to getting opportunities. And also, social media is a village. You have access to everyone all over the world. They get to see you. So social media is like a biggest tool for me. Yeah. I think collaboration is also a big thing in terms of like collaborating with the right people that you guys have the same alignment in terms of brands. I've collaborated with different designers, also collaborating with stylists, because that also opens you up to a new audience, collaborating with photographers. So within the ecosystem, you have to work with every single person so that we are able to grow your brand. And also I've been blessed to travel. So I've been to London Fashion Week, I've been to Egypt, so I'm seeing what other designers are doing and also trying to implement that within my own business. I think it does change your mindset, because sometimes when you're a designer in your own country, you're also in a bubble. You don't know anything but your own country. But when you travel, you see like there's a whole world out there, and there's also different like customers. You get to understand about even market segmentation, because I can make a product for the Kenyan market, I can make a product for the European market. So you understand all these aspects of business. And also the one thing I've really learned, especially with traveling, is the importance of collaboration. Even huge brands, this is one thing they really value and something we should really think about as creatives and implement more into our businesses. So it's really, exposure is a huge thing. It opens you up to really new opportunities and also like new customers. I've never really met buyers personally who have like huge stores, and also it opens your mind on how you talk to buyers, the product that can be in stores, and how to sell wholesale. That was basically the point of Egypt. It's really, it opens up your mind to how people do business, like big business. And as a small brand, I'm implementing all these things so that when the opportunity gets here, I'm ready. So when I started, I did a bit of research on what people are doing with beading. I was like, I need to get into this business, but I didn't have the skill level. So I was making simple things I've seen in the market. And usually most creatives, that's how they get into the business. You make things you've seen, but also I had to grow as a creator myself, as an artist, and find myself. And I found myself when I made my first body jewelry. I think it was about 2018. And I knew like, this is it for me. And I wanted to really stick to this line. And just seeing beading, the point of my business is seeing beading not just as beads but as fabric. So I'm like changing our mindset on how we see beading. So that's how we make like dresses with beads. So you just don't see like small things, but you see a full dress in beads. I have a lot of proud moments. I feel like every year I have like a proud moment. I'll talk about my proud moments this year because I have a lot. I did Tribal Chic, I think a month ago, and I say this collection has been one of my best work I've ever done, because I really wanted people to see beads a different way, in a different form, and I put my all into this collection. And also the story behind it, because when people see me in my jewelry, like sometimes people don't see themselves in it, and sometimes people can struggle with confidence, and this was about that. It's loving yourself where you are, seeing your body as a canvas for self-reflection, and I'm showing that through beading. I've learned a lot. I've really learned a lot. I will say having a community is one of the best things. When I started, I didn't have a community. I have a community of like different people within like the fashion world, where we share opportunities, we share ideas, and like you thrive as a creative when you're around other creatives. And also, please don't be afraid to ask. You know, I used to be so afraid to ask for help or something, but don't be afraid to. The worst someone can say is no, which is fine. You can ask the next person. And also, please do research. I feel like that's something we really miss. You don't know so much because you just don't do research, and you have like resources like the social media. Just use the internet. All the information is there. So I didn't do any research. So I got into a lot of hurdles because there was no research, and I just dove in. You know, so I will say those were the mistakes I made, and every single time I talk to other people who are trying to get into the industry, I tell them, please do some research, talk to people within the fashion world so you can know how to get into the business. Hi, I'm Sharon from Epica Jewellery. We are taking a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Millennial on the Move. Behind the scenes is not glamorous in fashion, because if you see my space, it's like super messy. There's beads all over, there's threads all over, and also I have like a process when I'm creating something. I'll start with sketching, and then you start the first product. Sometimes it doesn't work out, you have to redo it again. So it's not as glamorous, but that is the part I really love. I love the creating process. So it's not Instagram, but I still love it because that's at the core of the business. Yeah, I work with people who understand my vision, because I think that's the most important thing about owning a brand. So when you explain something to someone, they get it. Because if you don't understand my vision, it's very hard to work with someone who doesn't understand it. So I work with amazing people. My cousin works for me, and like she's permanent in my business, and she gets me. And also sometimes we outsource people. You have like a lot of work, but also you have to outsource the right people. So I think that's at the core of it. There's someone who understands your vision and is willing to put in the work as much as you do, because this is my baby, basically. So I think it was my last year I had a collection. It was called the Cyan collection. Cyan is beads for Maasai. So I went into the Maasai community. I worked with the Maasai women. I really wanted to tell them their story, and also to show the impact of beading, especially with these indigenous communities. And I also have my own preconceptions about going into the Maasai community. You think like it's all patriarchy, you feel like women don't have voices. But when I went to that community, you see the women have built their own community. They're doing amazing things. They even left FGM to actually do beading full time. It just shows the impact of beading. So I did a small docu-series to just show beading is really important. It's an important skill, and it's really changing lives in different communities. My last project, the Maua project, and also I think with my first collection, which was, I think it was in 2021, middle of COVID. That was the first serious collection I did, middle of COVID, and it was like my first collection, and then it was London Fashion Week, which was amazing. It was basically all digital, but it was such a great platform to be on, because a lot of businesses were struggling through that period, and I got a lot of visibility. I was featured in Vogue, I was featured in Harper's Bazaar Italia. So it was amazing that I can do like this really small collection, create my own film, and got all this visibility. It just shows the possibility of being in this industry. I have a specific vision when it comes to photography, and I love working with photographers and creators who understand the vision. So I think it's about capturing the beauty, and for you to capture the beauty, you have to work with the right photographers who really actually just get it, because visuals are important. That's literally the base of how people are introduced into my brand. So I want to make the visions right, and also I'm a storyteller, so I'm making stories. The visuals have represent the stories I'm trying to tell. I think for me, I just want to be grounded in terms of my creativity. So even if I'm combining those things, I have to stay true to myself. And also if I'm talking about like somebody else's culture, I want to, give it the right respect, and also even if I'm doing it in my own point of view, it has to have some respect and also accurate. So I'm showing beauty in different African cultures, but also I'm selling a product, so it has to make sense. Even if I'm telling a story, it has to be like a wearable product. So that's why I tell people it's wearable art, because there is art in that. There is culture, but there's also fashion, and you can wear the product. So it's more than just a product, it's a story. Yeah, everything is locally sourced, because I think it's very important to have the value chain has to make sense, and supply chain. So everything is locally sourced from our markets here, because we also have quality products from our market. I think it's important for me to stay true to that and have everything sourced from locally. I don't want to ship anything. beads are at the center of everything, but I'm also trying to like experiment with different materials. So mainly I do threads and feathers, incorporate feathers as well. Like in some products, yes, I'm trying to experiment because I feel like it's like the sky's the limit when it comes to creativity. So I'm always trying to experiment with different products. But beads, I don't want to really deviate from myself from beads because that's how it's at the core of my brand. I think working with artists is important to get visibility because they have a lot of visibility, and also working with the right artists that makes sense for your brand. So I've worked, we've dressed people like Yemi Alade, which was really good for us. It's huge for people to see Yemi wearing our stuff. They're like, oh, we want something Yemi wore. You know, we've dressed Yvonne Okwara, we've dressed Kamboy, we've dressed quite a number of celebrities locally. It's important for credibility and also brand awareness and visibility. It's very important to work with these artists because it works for, we're all in the same ecosystem. You know, we have to work together essentially. I think consistency is important. You know, consistency is important because when you disappear, people will forget. You know, people will forget about you. And also, I think I want everybody who comes through my brand to have an amazing experience. When somebody has an amazing experience, they will always recommend you, which is super important. So that's why you have like a high return rate with customers, because when they have a good experience, they'll always come back, you know. So you know, I'll say, because I'm on social media, I don't have to post every single day, but still I have to have some presence so that people will not forget about the brand. And also it's always having like new fun things, always creating, because you can't have the same things you had like 5 years ago now. Like there has to be like in terms of evolvement and growth as a creative and as a brand. I think skills are important. When you have a skill, I'll say please get your work out there. You have social media, and I keep reiterating this. Just post your work. You know, I think some people are really afraid to post your work because it's a vulnerable place to be in as a creative because you're posting yourself. So also just post your work and don't be afraid to actually talk to people who are in the industry to help you navigate how you can start. You know, just do it, honestly. Even if you're scared, just do it. Yeah. I have a specific vision in where I want the brand to go. So like the business strategies are in place and everything I do has to align with the business. So I have like mood boards, I have plans. For me to get where I need to get, there has to be a plan, a consistent plan. So those are the things I need to implement in the business. And sometimes it's business, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But there's no day when it's down I've been thinking, oh, I want to give up. That has never really crossed my mind because I know this is something I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I have to really put in the hard work. And this is something I've been told before. You can be talented, you know, but talent is not enough. It's really not enough. You have to put in the work and talent. So something I've really been told over the years is like talent is not enough. It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you're talented and lazy, you're not going anywhere. You have to put in the work, you know. So that's why I feel like we've also grown, because it's talent, consistency, and hard work. And people really respect that, and they will buy from you when they see that. Everywhere, all over the world, you'll see us. I feel like we want to be, in terms of like a benchmark in the continent, as like one of the best jewelry brand. That's where we'll be in 10 years.